news. Good morning, pre-market morning. What did we have happen good last night? Well, we covered the Win trade. We covered the IBM trade. They both came in. This morning, when I get to the NYSE, I'll talk about Goldman getting slammed and missing big time. But nonetheless, we got another super gap on our Apple. Another super gap, and they report earnings after the bell. Another super gap. They have ran this thing in straight to the moon going into tonight's earnings. Our Google trade is working. The Netflix trade, we're going to be buying that on the lower end today, MMTs. Looking for a big short squeeze out of there. Got the bull, TZOO, gapping. Or no, the bull is gapping $2.23, and that Travel Zoo is like Priceline. That's on the gap list today. ISRG reports after the bell today. Apple reports. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill. So what we're going to do with these gaps is like on the Win. It had an excellent report. It had an upgrade of $200. What will end up happening, it'll gap straight up. Then it'll pull back. It's going to be overbought, though. You see, the good news is the good news. But getting into an extreme overbought level is another thing. Quick, good trades. All good trades. Know when to sell overbought stocks. Now, on the gap open down, my friends, let's take a look and see what we got. We only have one. The bear is gapping down. The diminishing gap down, like I had said before earnings season started, is that the U.S. equity markets needed some bottom line growth. And they're pulling in that growth. IBM did really well, but they're pulling that growth in from around the world. Not so much in the U.S. Win is a China story. We all know. We've been covering it. And today we're going to feature Netflix, NFLX, with an upgrade today of 360. The stock was 304. They pulled it back yesterday. The stock has pulled back $30 off its high. It's had plenty of time to shake out the buyer. And the bears are all over Netflix. And they're going to get squeezed. And that's going to propel the stock higher. And it reports earnings on July 25th. Our Google gap is that we're looking for Google to make a higher high today. Closed at 594. Right now it's printing at 599. We're going to be seeing if Google can come up and challenge that 605.75 pennies. And we own the calls on the super gap. In the short term, the Signup, we don't need to focus on trading that today. We need to focus on catching that drop down bid and how that Netflix sets up, but then has a big explosive green bar, Leo. And then it ascends and it closes above the previous half bar by so many pennies, which is forward looking where the next breakout will start. And the continuation of a breakout will be confirmed. That concludes the gap open, up and down. You got ISRG reporting earnings. We'll cover all the earnings and all the stocks that we cover. They're all working for us. They're all working. Priceline got a gap. Travel Zoo's got a gap. They must be thinking Win flies all of them Chinese over here to Vegas, so the airfares have gone higher, huh? So, at any rate, we're going to focus on Netflix. We already own Google, and we're going to see how Google can burn up to 605 is where we would be wanting to look at. And we'll be selling those calls out, and we're going to be getting calls on Netflix up and out of the money before the earnings report on July 25th because they're getting squeezed short. So we'll be looking at the 320 call up and out of the money and see if they can put some honey on it.